Hi, it's Michelle Einstein Songbird Song. Gestalt psychology, Gestaltism, or configurationism, is a school of psychology that emerged in the early 20th century in Austria, where Freud was from, and Germany, where Einstein and Beethoven were from, as a theory of perception that was a rejection of basic principles of Wilhelm Wundt and Edward Titchener's elementalist and structuralist psychology. That's what Wikipedia said. Cognitive theory. The Gestalt theory of the psychology of learning states that every stimulus in learning is perceived by humans in its most simple form, also known as the law of simplicity. LOVE. Simply love. Principles. There are 6 individual principles. Why do they say Gestalt therapy is love? Because love is becoming the other and losing yourself. And when the therapist transfers her consciousness into the patient to see how to help the patient and loses herself, that is love. That's what love is, losing yourself and becoming the other. Now, hopefully, the therapist knows what she's doing and what she has done and returns to being herself to try to help the patient, because if she becomes a patient, she can't help the patient because the patient can't help himself, or else he wouldn't have come to the therapist in the first place. You understand? Okay. So the principles of Gestalt therapy, there are 6 individual principles commonly associated with Gestalt theory: similarity, continuation, closure, proximity, figure ground, and symmetry and order, also called Prägnung. Basic beliefs. Gestalt therapy emphasizes that the whole of anything is greater than its parts. Parts present art, sex. T for talk, S for share. That is, the attributes of the whole are not deducible from analysis of the parts in isolation. The word Gestalt is used in modern German to mean the way a thing has been placed or put together. There is no exact equivalent in English. What is an example of transference? Transference occurs when a person redirects some of their feelings or desires for another person to an entirely different person. One example of transference is when you observe characteristics of your father in a new boss. Minow, Freud, and Jung, Laura Pearls, directed her desire to know why her lesbian sister Helen is a lesbian to Lot's wife, who disobeyed God because she wanted to know why homosexuals are homosexuals. God. Odd as iodized, idolized, yeah. God turned Lot's wife into a pillar of salt. It's iodized salt. It's iodine medicines for wounds. Iodine is medicine for wounds. Minnow stayed attached to Lot's wife mentally for 70 years before she learned why she disobeyed God. Minnow disobeyed herself, her conscience, because she thought she'd die if she refused to do the bad thing her lesbian sister wanted her to do. Homosexuals and lesbians tuned into the fact that Minnow cared enough about them that she wanted to know what made them tick and get into her life. She married a homosexual and studied him as his figure of a mother therapist called wife for 30 years. That was Krishna. He told her homosexuality is narcissism. The male sees the guy he's butt-fucking or cock-sucking as himself. In other words, he makes believe unconsciously that he is fucking himself and or sucking himself. The cum in the penis is himself, he believes, because if he reduces himself to his essence, he believes he's cum. He has not assimilated as a human being. He's still the cum in his father's testicles or penis in his mind. Mama said Angelini's church thinks everything is wrong. Mary Magdalene's irresistible appeal is that she is good and bad. She decided at age 3 or 4 that this place is a place where you can't be as good as you want to be, because she decided to ignore God, Santa Claus, and her mother and obey her lesbian sister, her only peer companion, when her sister told her to take off her pajama bottoms and get on top of her naked body. Minnow feared being alone more than unknown consequences of God's disapproval and Santa's disapproval and her mother's. She felt tremendous pressure of the possibility of being a victim of a home invader if she was left alone. So she decided she had no choice but to go against what she wanted to do. Vagina's touching was disgusting to her, but she did it to avoid being murdered by a home invader, which is what she was imagining would happen if she was left alone again. That's what she imagined might happen when she was left alone in the first place by her mother and grandmother. And also an abortionist invaded her mother's home, her womb, her uterus, her room, in her house, her body, when she was a fetus, and tried to suck her cum out of there back into formless sperm, urine, and testosterone. A dissolution of her human form evolving. This is what she pictured happened, because her mother told her she tried to abort her. She might have to go back to the beginning of the line of the 8,400,000 species she thought she'd have to go through to be at the level of human being again, at the top of the evolutionary ladder. Lad or daughter, Eve, mother, father. So animal kingdom, she'd have to go through the animal kingdom, the plant kingdom, the inanimate objects. That's why people will do anything to stay alive as long as they have hope because they don't want, there are 8,400,000 species, and they don't want to have to go back to the beginning to try to work their way up to the end, which is the top, the human being level, as long as they have hope. Earth, heart, heaven, order. Parents, love, talk and share. Okay, that's to have hope. Loving parents. At age 4, when your mother told you, now they're talking to Michelle Minnow directly. When your mother told you she had never wanted you, that she had tried to kill you, to abort you, but her ears started ringing like dinner bells and she stopped aborting you. You were shocked out of your mind. You blamed yourself for getting into an unwelcoming womb. You wonder how you could be so stupid as to do that. Excuse me, stupid. Stupor. Identity. And you wonder, Miles Red, who saved your life? Spin-off TV show, Saved by the Bell. But in that moment, you decided you didn't want to be you. You are bad. You must be bad. Why else would your mother want to kill you? Like you, swat a pesky fly, or burn stinging yellow jacket wasp. Was pest, so she thought she was a pest. She, Minnow, ran all the way back to the beginning to dissolve her biology to the subatomic particle level. Present, art, rat, tar, tart, brat, star, Shirley Temple. Her mother had been Shirley Temple. First mother of Minnow was Shirley Temple. Minnow said, I won't be Minnow. She's bad. I'll be Mama. Mama was Shirley Temple. She must be good. It was unfathomable. Love. Love. It was unfathomable to little Minnow that love was bad. She loved her mama. She couldn't picture her mama, but she couldn't imagine her mama being bad. But so she imagined herself. She must have been the one who was bad. It was not possible to love herself because she decided she must be bad, and nobody, especially her, could love bad. Therefore, it was not possible to love herself. Charan Singh, her guru, told her, we live to learn to love ourselves. Pastor Carrick told her at the Journey Church online service, we live to worship God's Son, Jesus. She already loves the original Jesus, Josh Groban. And apparently she loves the men who are at the level of Jesus consciousness, the Beatles, David Garrett, the virtuoso violinist, her son sings songbird, song McCartney. She loves them. So she's fulfilled her purpose? No. She's the first female Jesus Christ who suffered more than the equivalent of being crucified on a cross one time. She's been the equivalent of having been crucified on a cross 10 times, yet she doesn't know how to love herself. As Charan Singh said, the reason why we live. Got all that? Okay, now something else. They say crazy people don't know they're crazy. I know I'm crazy. That must mean I'm not crazy. I'm sane. I told that to my father, King George V, Milton Harris, and he said to me, "You are clear." My uncle, who we call Brother Wright, would kneel on his knees and pray for 2 hours every night when I was young, 6-year-old. I would kneel beside him, a spin-off rock star named Neil Young. Okay. Just shows you that Charan Singh said, we have karma with everybody in the world. So they tune into my thought vibrations and create things for themselves that make them rich and famous. Think and Grow Rich, that's the name of a book I'm reading by Napoleon Hill. Let's see what we find, message we find in the words Napoleon and Hill. Enter a planet napping, ordering, L-O-V-E, love of nation of Christians. Now Hill says, heaven pleasuring, love, life, Eve. E-V-E, you see that? Okay. That's it. I made it through. Okay, thank you for watching. I hope you found my presentation interesting and helpful most of all. This is Michelle Einstein Songbird signing off for now.